Hello, I am Usman Sheikh, and this is the presentation for ICCIML 2021 for paper ID 28. The title of the paper is Industry Revolution 4.0 Knowledge Assessment in Malaysia. The authors of this paper are Sharifah, Kamilah, Syed, Yusof, Usman Sheikh, Norjulia, Mohamad, Nordin, Naziha, Ahmad, Ali, Aida, Ali, Nurul, Abdul, Latiff. So, what is the motivation of this work? The impacts of the fourth industrial revolution, or also known as IR 4.0, on our life is well noted. The future job market landscape will drastically change and needs to be addressed by the higher education institutes for graduate employability. This work assessed the IR 4.0 knowledge among the industries, the adoption, the readiness, and the skill sets required for future ready engineers. This is followed by an overview on the approach taken by one of the public universities in Malaysia in addressing the needs of IR 4.0 through its undergraduate engineering programs. So let's have a look at the survey. Okay, so the survey was actually conducted to 95 local Malaysian small and medium enterprises. This is to address the gap in the requirements of future graduates in the field of AI. It is also to address the needs for Industry 4.0 revolution, and the survey actually consists of 29 questions, and this survey is actually a part of the Shift Erasmus Plus project conducted by Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, UPM, and also other universities. Let's look at the demographics. We actually surveyed 95 SMEs in Malaysia, and these SMEs consist of national and also multinational companies. Some of them are actually such as Intel, Rolls-Royce, Petronas Malaysia, Telekom Malaysia, Uniqlo, U Mobile, Tenaga Nasional, Sharp, and HSBC, Honeywell, Highcom, and so on. Okay, so these are some of the SMEs that we actually went to get this survey from. In terms of the distribution of the industries that these SMEs are actually associated with, okay, so around 30% of the SMEs are actually in the manufacturing, what we call sector. Around 17% actually in electric gas sector. Around 10%, around 11% is in the education. Around 8 to 9% are actually in the construction, while the rest are actually inside sectors such as transport, telecommunication, wholesale and retail, hotels, financial, health, agriculture, real estate, and others. Now, looking at the company capital as well as their number of employees, around 52.6% of the survey respondents actually have around more than 15 million in terms of capital, while 31% have a capital between 30,000 to 15 million, while the rest actually are having a capital of less than 300,000. The number of employees, around 89% of the respondents have more than 100 employees, while only 18% have less than 20 employees. The interesting thing to find here is that from the survey we found out that approximately 18.9% of the companies have never heard of the term Industry 4.0. Now, looking at the vision of digital transformation, okay, so looking at this chart here, the large portion, that is about 30.5%, have a broad vision of digital transformation in their respective companies. Okay, and around 33.7% they have around medium to high vision of transformation. Okay, while the worrying trend is approximately 10% have no or no to low vision for digital transformation, which means that around 12% of the SMEs they don't look into the transformation of their industries into digital. Okay. Now, looking at the importance of Industry 4.0, especially looking at the technologies that we have under Industry 4.0, so most industries in Malaysia are actually focused on manufacturing, thus putting more importance on manufacturing related technologies such as robotics and IoT, but less on the fundamental technologies such as nanotech. So looking at this chart here, from our survey we found out that most industries, they really look into IoT, cloud computing, wireless technology, cybersecurity, as well as simulation systems. and they found that these technologies has very high or very advanced importance in Industry 4.0, but things such as nanotechnology and smart materials are not considered as very important for them. This is due to that most of our industries actually manufacturing. What about the kind of skills? Okay, so what we found out is that none of the respondents assessed the skills of the employees as substantial. Most employers agree that the skills are greatly inadequate, okay, especially in things like cloud computing, IoT, cybersecurity, and so on. Only skills in wireless technology is adequate. Okay, so besides this, employers also found that the following skills are most valued, such as decision making, responsibility, and adaptability, as well as ability to work in a group. So we can see that beside technical skills, soft skills are actually very important. 45.4% agree that the importance of deploying a team is really important, a team of experts for adopting IR4, while 50% already have plans to deploy a team. In terms of willingness to adopt, 5.3% has no plans for adoption. Okay, so 45.3% have medium plans to no plans to establishment of IR 4.0. Okay, while 43% already have implementation. Although that is kind of the scenario right now, okay, it is good to see that 62% are willing to implement IR 4.0, okay, while 31% have interest in it. When you look at some of the technologies in IR 4.0, such as wireless technology, let's have a look at the kind of adoption they have currently in their industry. The 5G technology, we have a very good initial adoption of approximately 10%, although 5G is not fully available in Malaysia. 48.3% are using some sort of IoT technology. So we can see that IoT is kind of a mature technology in the industry right now. In terms of how we process data, because data is one of the key things we have in IR 4.0, because we have a lot of sensors and we're collecting a lot of data. Okay, data organization is a very important key, and is key to big data as well as analytics. So industry response has shown that there's a lot of unstructured data is being collected. Okay. So in terms of the management of the data, industry is already using a lot of things such as big data, utilizing data warehouse and Hadoop. 37.8% of the respondents are currently deploying data engineering, that is data acquisition in batch or real time, pre-processing, offline or real time, and also batch processing. While 15% of the respondents are actually not deploying any kind of data or data management. 37.8% of the respondents are actively using some sort of data analytics, such as descriptive, exploratory, causal or predictive, and also prescriptive. Okay, you can see that the kind of data management and data processing is kind of a healthy condition in the scenario of Malaysian SMEs. Of course, this needs to be tailored also with the ability to do some sort of programming, okay, or data manipulation. So the industry is currently mostly using open source programming languages. As you can see, 60% is actually using C++, 48% is using Java, 20% using Python, 12% using R, 10% using Scala. Some commercial programming languages such as MATLAB and Julia are currently missing due to licensing costs and also maturity. So based on the IEEE top programming languages in 2020, I can see most of our industries are already using that top languages such as Python, Java, C, and C++. What about AI and programming? The AI adoption is kind of low. Over 46% of the respondents do not use any AI algorithms and also foresee no use for it, while around 29% predict the need for AI, and the remaining 29% is actively using AI. So owing to the fact of low AI adoption, so they don't see the need for programming languages such as Python, Prolong, or Lisp. And from the data we collected, we found that 58% of our respondents is actually using Java, while 55% using C++, and also 27% using Python. What about implementation? Okay, so most of them are actually implementing things such as natural language generation, virtual agents, AI optimized hardware, deep learning platforms, biometrics, robotics, process automation, and also image recognition. Okay, in terms of what we call currently using technologies, RFID is not currently actively being used, but is willing to be used. Okay, WSN is widely used. IoT is widely used, over 70%, and business process management is widely used as well. Over 76% of our respondents are using it. What about the outlook of investing in IR 4.0? We from our what we call survey from our SMEs, we see that in the next 5 years, respondents in January are willing to spend on the following things, such as IT, production, marketing, and sales, but less on logistics. And the highest spending so far is actually on IT and R&D. Most of them are also spending on service, logistic purchasing, and also production, but very little is being spent on human resource management. So when we asked regarding the effects of IR 4.0, generally industries agree that it will increase labor, capital, and total productivity. It will increase market share, product and services quality as well. It will also create new business models. So industries also agree that IR 4.0 can be implemented in small businesses, allows SME to be more competitive, allows large corporations to be more agile. However, industries really need the skills. So in conclusion, the status quo of the perception of IR 4.0 from the sample companies in Malaysia have been identified. Most companies agree on the benefits of IR 4.0. Their willingness to adopt IR 4.0 acceptance is in being agile and also competitive are commendable. So the support from the government and also industry-related entities is inevitable in making IR 4.0 success as a reality. Thank you very much.